Hey everybody, let me ask you this question. What business framework do you use? So what sort of a framework do you use for your business? This is slightly different from a business model. Hey, I'm John Harris and welcome to another episode of Exponential Radio. And we're talking about your business, the attributes really to how you structure your business and run your business. So with the exponential model, there's a very specific framework, and this was really expounded and articulated by Salim Ismail and Peter de Mendes. And it's one of the big differences between an exponential type organization or entity it's compared to a traditional, say, brick and mortar business. So they have specific attributes that really enable them to conduct business in the digital economy. And we're talking, we mentioned many times, we talk about things like Airbnb, etc. Their type of business model. And they've done a big amount of research with these companies and looked at what are these characteristics, what are the various parts, how do they have a specific type of attributes that can be put into a framework that they enable them to do to run these businesses. And so we'll chat just briefly about these attributes, and there's really basically 11 of them, starting off with, as we've discussed already, your massively transformative purpose, looking at that reason why the company exists, what is its purpose, other than necessarily, its mission, how it does things, or even its vision, what it looks like. This is really why it has a right to exist and what it does purposely. So we have these internal and external type, outward facing, inward facing type attributes. And the first one we can chat about is staff on demand. So this is external facing. To be flexible, you've got to be able to take on more staff and reduce staff. And it's got to be everything about the scaling and the operations of Exponential has to be flexible. So this is very important to understand, okay? The next thing we chat about is the community and crowd. So how do you take a crowd of people and build a community? And that is also related directly to that massively transformative purpose, and it gets a raving fans, a group of people that has a very strong community. And you see this with very powerful products. I mean, you can see it already with the Tesla products. You'll see it with people that own Rolexes, all these type of things. They're basically very keen on, or Apple, very, very fanatic about their products. Then another enabler is the algorithms. And obviously this is becoming more and more relevant as AI accelerates from generative to general and onward to super. It's not far away as far as Elon is concerned. A couple of years to being general AI, which is very powerful, and thereafter we're heading up straight up towards super AI. So I mean, these are very, very powerful things, and the algorithms are what are driving that. And even on these companies now, these platforms, it is that algorithms in the different areas that enable it to do certain things. That's the enabler. And then you've got your leveraged assets. So instead of owning everything, a lot of things now are rented or leased out for periods of time. And it's, for example, even space. Rather than be buying huge amounts of building capitalization, you use places, co-working, etc., habitats to do extra projects and so on and so forth. The other asset attribute we want to look at is engagement. Being able to engage people through gamification or whatever it is in your product. These are all things that you're going to look to get the community even more keen, even more attached, and even stronger relationship with your end user. On the internal side of things, we've got the interface. Your different types of interface to your platform. Obviously, using a lot of apps. It's very important to have apps that can bring people into your world. The other thing is then that needs to be monitored and measured what's happening, because these can be very scalable. So what then you need is a dashboard, a real-time dashboard giving you the metrics. And this enables you to scale things to huge numbers and still be able to make control and make decisions. Another way that you've got to look at being able to do this, or if you have an existing company or even within an organization that's looking to change direction, is to have experimentation. Even once you get going as a startup, you've got to be experimenting all the time, setting up experiments and looking to see whether these products or services have traction, or could have traction, and if it's possible to actually start to build that out, that it could in the end become the main business. A lot of companies that start out, I mean, if you look at even Google before the advertising, knowing what to do with all these people coming on board, let's talk about Facebook in that respect. The advertising is really something else that's become very powerful, although these companies, especially Google, is really an ecosystem now, not just a platform. It has many platforms basically built into it. The next is autonomy. You need to have autonomous teams, and why you need that is because any organization by its very nature has a structure and tries to protect that structure just like a body. So there's an immune system, and if anything challenges that, immediately the immune system kicks in, which makes it very difficult for change. A company executes its business principles and its business in general through a channel, various channels, and they are well protected, and that's what gives it that continuity. So obviously when you seem to disrupt that, it's not appreciated by the organism or by the mother company, the mothership. So you need to have autonomous teams that set up and can work in perhaps a shared space. We spoke about that, a co-working habitat or some other external venue where they're not interrupted and they have free reign to try and do things and to see if anything could ideas and see what the implementation is and what the risks are, and start it in a small scale, see if they can be scaled up. And those teams are very important for getting these ideas off the ground and starting for implementation. And then obviously the last one is really social connectivity within the organization, out to the potential, the community, the community, social communication with the suppliers and partners, but really internally, peer-to-peer, and different types of communications that are very rapid. If it's not possible to be in the same room, you still need very comprehensive communications, and you need to have a good framework for that, so it's not time wasting. And a lot of that it can be done through these social type platforms, Slack, etc. So there's a lot of, we haven't gone too far down that rabbit hole because each one of these can take a long time, obviously, to go over to discuss in detail and to even look at the technologies that are out there to build, obviously, like interfaces, apps, or to build dashboards. The methodology of experimentation. You can go into depth in a lot of these. But anyway, as usual, you can go and get some back issues if you go to johnarthurharris.blogspot.com. And otherwise, we will see you in the next episode.